That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back. Folks, God forbid I started this show at 9:01 and everybody's like, John, you've lost a step. You're late. What's going on? Somebody call 911. Oh man. It is listen, here's the first thing. First things first. I want to congratulate all of you and me and everyone else that follows every other team. I'm telling you, from now on, we have college football until the end of January. You made it. You've made it. I can't verify where our mental state is at collectively through this battle of the offseason. I was calling it the dog days, and it was like late April. That's what it felt like. Adam Dowling was giving me a hard time. John, it's not even technically summer. You're talking about the dog days. Like, I can't verify like the mental wear and tear that everyone has had to go through to get us here. But I'm telling you, from now till late January, deep into the winter freeze of the Midwest, college football's back. Now, the next challenge. So congratulations to all of you that you made it without losing your minds, or you did lose your mind and that's why you're here, whatever it might be. We made it. Now, here's the next challenge though, specifically for the Notre Dame fan base. This is going to be the next step of this, right? So now you're in this level where you're relieved because you're going to have college football back and like you're going to have some games Saturday or whatever, right? The next challenge is it's going to drive you nuts because all these teams are going to play on Saturday and we're not. That's it's always the next thing, man. It's always the next thing. So you got college football back, but we're not playing. It's going to be a relief, but it's also going to ramp up that stress and anxiety because you're going to be like, okay, here's this team. They played, they won, they got one in the bag. They kind of know what they have, and it's like, okay, we're good here. We're not going to have that. So you're going to have this weekend to be able to get a taste of it, but you're going to want it. Then, even when we get to our weekend, you're going to have to wait an extra day because we don't play on Saturday. So I'm just telling you, it's going to be good to have it all back, but we still have some mental hurdles as the Notre Dame group because you're not going to get answers this weekend. You're not going to get answers the following Saturday. So, like, hang in there. Hang in there. But congratulations to all of you. You made it. And the other, on a personal note, I can't thank you guys enough that are here in the off season. You're here in the mornings, even in the middle of May and June when there isn't much going on other than you hope to get some recruiting news. The people on the Patreon chat 24/7 all year round. I love you guys. It's easy when the games are going on and everybody's invested and there's action and there's news every week and you're in that heat of it. The hard part is that off season of how to keep ourselves entertained, how to challenge our minds, how to find different angles to think about things. And you guys really help me get through that because it is a vortex of like checking off days on the calendar. And so I just want to thank you guys for being along for that ride. I really do appreciate it. So I don't know. It's we still got a little ways to go. Yeah, USC plays Saturday. Mark says hate watching is back. I'm telling you, you know what one of the greatest joys is as a Notre Dame fan? If Notre Dame could win a game and then you can relax and hate watch everything else that's going on. Root against Michigan when they're on, root against Ohio State, root against USC, whatever it was. I'm programmed now to root against LSU just out of Brian Kelly habits, right? Like there is no purer joy as a Notre Dame person than to just sit there when your team has a win in the bag and you're feeling good. And then you get to sit back and hate watch everybody else. Angela, I was thinking that too, but I wasn't going to say I did. It's a Monday. I'm not trying to go sideways here, but Angela, that's where my mind went to. That's where my mind went to. How the times have changed. That used to be the pinnacle of opportunity. Like, oh, that's funny. Man, we're all getting old, I think. Oh, man. So Troy says, first time I've tuned in a while. I'm starting to get the itch. We're almost there. Yeah. And you know what else? God bless. I mean this sincerely. For the Always Irish LLC like business model, I need and love and cherish every one of you that's here throughout the whole off season. On a personal sanity note, I am sincerely jealous and always have been of the people that are able to totally disconnect throughout the off season. Like, okay, Notre Dame's done. And I have a lot of people on the Patreon and here that message me and they're like, okay, John, the season's over. I'll see you the day before the first game next year. And these people go live normal lives. Like they go do normal summer stuff. I am sincerely jealous of people that could turn the college football switch off and go live a normal existence and then get back into it when the games start. I'm super jealous. Good for you. Good for you, man. I am jealous of people. And there's a lot of them. And they'll just be, whenever the last game's over, I'll get a message. See you, John. I'll be back the day before the first game next year. And then you kind of forget about some of these characters and then they all come back. We're about there. We're right about there. So I can't understand you. So you guys, we made it. So you'll be able to hate watch USC here this Saturday. Like we're off. And like, I know there's some games going on. I don't think there's anything needle moving. I mean, is anybody up for a Saturday night after dark special here? The last Saturday night before we get this going? Maybe get a different group with some different juice here in the end of the summer. Maybe this is the time we pull out the night show to get this all going. So let me know if you guys are interested. And if you got that hate watch in your heart, let it out. Like, I'm telling you, there's no pure joy than in my hateful football heart to have Notre Dame win, and then you just get to hate watch everybody else. It is the purest joy you'll ever find. And a next level of that, I'm going to expose my immaturity at 41 years. I'll be 42 in a few weeks. I'm a man. I'm 42. I'm going to say this. This is so immature, but it's one of my favorite hobbies. Whenever one of these teams loses that I hate, I'm in their YouTube videos trolling them in the comments on the live show the same way everybody does to me. I would like to say going on 42, I've matured beyond that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's like you all get me whenever we lose. Well, I'm getting you back when you lose. All right. I'm telling you, every one of those LSU YouTube shows after they lost under Kelly, it was just Christmas for Johnny Boy. And a bunch of you guys were in there too. I'm admitting I should be beyond it. I'm not. I love that stuff. Like, it's all fair game. You do it to me, I'm going to go back and do it to you. And it's super freeing to be on the commenting side of a live stream where you're not worried about producing a show and what you're going to talk about and making sure everything looks and sounds right. When you can just enjoy it for the entertainment and rip on people, I love it. I love it. So, yeah, Clayton's back. He's ready for a big season. Doc's in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. We're like Toys R Us kids. We don't want to grow up. Man, I'm telling you. Is there even Toys R Us anymore? Or is that all online? I remember being a little kid and it would be a big deal when like it's your birthday or something and your mom would be like, we're going to Toys R Us and you could each pick out one thing you want. And I would get like Legos or something or a little race car or something. Do they even have a Toys R Us anymore? Is that what Amazon is? Is it Temu R Us? Is that what we're doing now? You go to the Toys R Us and then you hit up Chuck E. Cheese on the way out of town, right? You get the Toys R Us in a strip mall, Chuck E. Cheese next door. God, I'm getting old. I'm getting old. Son of a buck. I'm getting old, man. So I don't know, but it is. But I had a personal vendetta with the YouTube hosts in the LSU ecosystem. That was largely personal, and they knew what I was doing. I knew what they were doing. Whenever they got to take a shot at me, they took one, and whenever I could give it back, I'd give it back. That was all fair game. That battle between me and some of those LSU people through the Kelly era, man, it got me fired up. Got me fired up. Somebody asked how much I weigh. 183. That's a lot for me. That's a lot for me. I'm trying to get the calories up and get some meat on me for what's coming. 183 is a lot for me. So I got to work to get to 183. Like protein shakes, get in the gym. I got to work for 183. So I was hoping to get to 190-ish of good weight. I don't think I'm built for it. I don't think my frame will hold it. I'm a weird dude. I don't know, man. Or the Notre Dame stress melts it right out of you. Melts swan dong, I wish. But you got the right name to write that comment. I'll tell you that. God, I love this stupid show. All right. Welcome in. Welcome back. Always chunky. I was chunky one time in my life, and it was in grad school. I was eating like crap. I was getting no sleep. I was gone from sundown until the sun went. I was going to school or going to work or going to the internship by 5:30 every morning, getting home at like 10 at night for 2 years. And I gained weight, and it was bad, man. Like I started noticing it. It was not good weight. I wasn't working out. It was just eating bad, stressed out, not sleeping well. Those 2 years, it was not good. And I was like, nope, this ain't happening. So then I just starved myself for a while, and then I got skinny again. But there was one time in my life I put on a little weight, and it was horrifying. And I was like, no, this ain't happening. And the grad school thing is an excuse, but it is true. I was eating poorly, not sleeping, stressed out, like whatever. It was rough. But yeah, not going to do that. John's mom had to shop in the Husky section. No, she did not. I was like 23 when that happened. No. And by the way, I was drinking a lot, though. I just talked about how busy I was. I admit I wasn't eating well, but I was drinking a lot. I was like 23, like going out at night in the city and all this stuff. I was eating bad and drinking a lot whenever I had a moment. I'm too old for that stuff now, man. I'm too old for that stuff. Johnny stays in shape so he can outswim the sharks. No, man, I'm telling you, I am just not meant for the ocean. There's certain people that feel at one with the water and at one with I'm from Illinois, man. I'm from Illinois. I'm just not meant to be an ocean dude. I'd like to sit there and look at it, but I ain't. Oh, I don't think that's for me, man. I don't think that's for me. Drinking out of gas cans adds a lot of weight. I'm telling you, Angela can verify this. It's a genius idea. That was right when Little John and the East Side Boys had that one summer where they were popping. Everything they dropped was a hit. Like, it was crunk juice in the videos they were drinking. And in one of them videos, Little John had a gas can, one of them red plastic gas cans, and they were drinking the crunk juice out of it. I went to college. We're going to these parties. I'm trying to impress the ladies. I went to this store and I got a gas can. I printed off some labels that said crunk juice. I poured the drink and filled it up and went to the party, and the girls are drinking out of the hosel. Everybody's taking pictures with Johnny. We're dancing to Get Low from the window to the wall. People drinking out of that hose. It was probably very unsanitary, but it was a lot of damn fun. It was a lot of damn fun. I'll tell you that. Yeah, they don't want to see Johnny work. Look how I'm living for the city. The funniest part of that scene, Liam, I can't repeat. I don't know why. He's blending. He's putting the illegal substances in the blender. And the guy's like, you can't do that. And he goes, get out my face. I can't say the rest, but he goes, get out my face. I love that. I love that. Oh, God. If I only knew what crunk juice really was. Yeah, I'm not drinking lean. My crunk juice was like Boone's Farm or something with like Everclear mixed in it. It wasn't and a banana cognac. All right, welcome in, welcome back. I'm in a good mood. Football's back, man. Football's back. Football is back. He's blending it up. Football's back. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Yeah, and Pat's in here. Here's the other one. We're talking about college drinking. Look at how I got distracted. Pat would always show up with the Goldschlager. You remember what I'm talking about? Clear bottle, and it had the gold flakes in it. And you would shake it, and it was the gold flakes would go up and down the bottle. And whenever the Notre Dame's playing, and Pat would bring over the Goldschlager, and it was like, John, if you don't drink this, Notre Dame's going to lose. It's gold flakes off the dome and the helmets. And if you don't drink it, we're going to lose. You better just drink as many shots as I give you. And I said, yes, sir. May I have another? Because you got to do it for the team, baby. I wanted those gold flakes inside me. I didn't care how much it burned going down. I loved it. And Pat would go, you better have another one or they're going to lose today, John. I said, okay. So that's how we did that. Lysol, Katie's my girlfriend. I can't repeat any of the lines from that whole thing that I want to. Katie got some. I can't. You guys it's bothering me now. You're bringing up things that I can't say any of the good parts of. Yeah, it was like a cinnamony. It was kind of like Fireball. It would burn going down, but you wanted those gold flakes in your soul. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted that. I wanted those gold flakes inside me. As always, you can find the program. Let's get it back on track. You can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it. By the way, a couple of you guys commented. We reached 15,000. We're right at it. So if a couple people hate this show and decommit, we're going to drop back under. But we made it. Duloc, exactly. See, I can't say it, but you can. Katie got some. And so you stabbed my dad. Anyways, every once in a while, you guys get me to break and you just get my mind in a place where I can't handle it. I don't even remember what I was saying. Let's get back to the introduction, okay? Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish. If you want to troll me along with the Indiana fans or whatever, you can go ahead and do it. Adam says he's decommitting. Yeah, that's hurtful. Oh, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Thank you guys for getting me to 15K. I want to try and push it through this season. We're going to have obviously the numbers go up once the year starts. I'm going to try and push it. I want to see how close we could get to 20 by the end of this season. So if you like the show, share it with the Notre Dame family or friend, somebody who isn't aware of it or whatever. We're going to put the pedal to the metal, see if we could get to 20. Okay. But I was looking at that 15 number and it's glad to clear that. So thank you guys for all the help. Emails, always irishnd@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want it. You can get it if you're sick of looking at my face. Something funny happened last week. When I do these shows, I will translate them into MP3 so I'll post a video of it on Spotify. And then I will have another version that's audio only. And, some people don't like the YouTube. They want to watch the video, but do it on Spotify, which you could do. And then if you're like a truck driver, you're working with your hands, you don't want to drain your phone battery. A lot of people prefer MP3 audio only. If you're running around work and you don't want to burn your battery, you can't be looking at a video, or you don't want to see my stupid mug, which is fair too. And I've done the same thing for like 10 years, the way I download them and then just rip them, upload them, and then they're live on Spotify. They started translating them into Spanish. I out of nowhere, I've been doing the same thing I've been doing for 10 years. And I posted a couple last week and I had people texting me like, John, why is this in Spanish? It's like, I don't know. But I'll tell you this, the guy that was repeating my words in Spanish, he delivered a lot more calmly than I did. Like, you got to find a way to implement. You got to find a way to implement my like dialect into, if they translated it into Spanish and the guy was talking monologue, I couldn't understand. I can't understand you, but he was talking all calm. If they're going to dub me over into Spanish, make the guy mad at least, make him sound like a soccer announcer or something yelling. That guy was way too calm when he dubbed me over in Spanish. I'll tell you that. So I don't know how that happened, but I had people being like, why is your latest episode in Spanish? I'm like, I don't know. La Tierra, Taco Bell or something. I don't know. I can't understand myself. I'm in a good mood today. Football's back. It's back. And it's been a long, stressful off season. Son of a buck on the football being back. I need it. I want to hear him sing your version of Michael McDonald in Spanish. Hey, yacht rock applies no matter what language, all right? If you're my parents' age, you're going to love that. All right. I got to get focused. Notre Dame on SI, you could read it. Taking me 28 minutes to get through the introduction. Notre Dame on SI, you could read all about it. Patreon.com/alwaysirish10. We got some surprises for you guys. We're going to have the Mike Goolsby show on these Sundays after the Notre Dame games. It's going to be Mike Goolsby, Derek Curry, DC, the man, in a special guest host for those shows that I think you guys will recognize and appreciate. We got surprises. Promo code ND26. And it's like, John, how do you find the link? That's inconvenient. I don't want to have to do that. Boom! You don't have to find the link. Just put your camera up to the QR code and let the technology direct you. Promo code ND26, 50% off, 50 cent. Telling you what, would you believe it that there was a time I went to a 50 Cent G-Unit concert? I don't think I fit in, but I'm telling you, I had a good time. It was right when 50 was at the peak and G-Unit was bumping. Oh my God, it was so much fun, man. Use a window shopper. Oh my God, it was great. I got 21 questions and they all about us. Oh man, telling you what. So that was fun. Ludacris was a good concert at his peak. It was Ludacris, David Banner, Old Cadillacs on 22s. David Banner opened for Ludacris. That was a good hip hop show. I've been to a bunch of Snoop shows just out of vintage, straight up West Coast, baby, vintage style. And then I go to the yacht rock concerts with my parents, 80 Doobie Brothers concerts, America, the Eagles, all of that stuff, man. Steely Dan, we've done that a bunch. Chicago's good live. I have a wildly varying music takes here. Yeah, just picture me blending in at the local, cheering on Young Buck during his verse. You know what I'm saying? Oh, to be young again. Oh, man. I love you, Johnny. But yeah, Tom probably not a fan of the hip hop. I'm sorry. I'm just from them streets, Tom. I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, promo code ND26. The witnesses in the Tupac trial are quite the... I'm telling you, I mentioned this last week. It is so interesting. If you're into the old Tupac mystery thing and all that, all these guys on the stand, you know, like when Mob James is up there and Reggie Jr., you know all the backstory with Keefe D and all this stuff. And you've been watching like the interviews they do on DJ Vlad TV for years. Now seeing him on the stand, it's wild. It's crazy how it all comes back after all the rumors and all these decades. It's unbelievable. So I'm finding that very, very interesting. Bearded Irishman. Thank you for this. Dude never misses. I've been following John since the days of him yelling on the mic, and there was no video, just audio. It's been a long time since I was banging on that counter at the graveyard, man. That's how this show started. Literally me after hours in my office at a graveyard, banging the desk, yelling about Brian Kelly. That's how this all started. And in a way, it kind of lined up. Like the year that I started doing this in 2016, the fact that I was doing it live from a graveyard where everybody was dead, it actually kind of lined up pretty well with Notre Dame football and where it was at. We've come a long way. Clayton says, I don't like hip hop. I think we could pick up on that, Clayton. I don't think you had to tell me that. I think we knew that. He was banging on my hood. Don't be afraid, Jasper. Angela, Doobie Brother concerts with my parents were the best. Yeah, we were all young and just having fun, man. Those were good times. Those were good times. All right. Okay. Telling you, man. Keefe D been talking too much. That's seriously. Keefe D been if you know anything about this whole Keefe D's been talking too much. Get off these YouTube shows and podcasts where you're saying a lot that's going to be used against you in court. Keep it talking way too much. For a guy that was running the LA streets of Compton or whatever, you're talking too much. You're violating the number one rule. He should have shut up. Shut up. Casey, that's a winner. Congratulations on it reaching 15. Appreciate it, man. Been with me from the start. Thank you. Is Always Irish finally going to talk about Wisconsin and stop overlooking them? Here's where I'm at with this, Adam. Here's where I'm at. I'm genuinely struggling to find the proper balance between the belief that Notre Dame is a more mature program and is in a different place now, and they should be able to handle this moment with respecting your opponent, and you could lose any game, and Notre Dame's seen that happen every September. I'm shooting you guys straight. I've been perpetually torn all off season between my belief this program's in a more mature spot and ready to handle this moment and get over that whole September slump thing. But on the other side of it, like until you prove that, you can't take anybody lightly, any game lightly. I don't care if it's at Notre Dame or wherever. So I admit I'm struggling walking that line of how to think of this, to have ultimate respect for your opponent that every opponent deserves, with the belief that I think Notre Dame's in a better spot and they should be able to handle this. And that's something I think we're all probably going to struggle with for the next 2 weeks. But I don't know where that line is. Like, you want to be confident in your squad, but right up to a line where that becomes dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And I'm struggling to straddle that line and figure it out. John says, leave no doubt. Now, here's something interesting on leave no doubt. This is interesting. So I've been trying to consume some Wisconsin media, okay? Getting into their ecosystem a little bit, see how they're thinking of their team, see how they're talking about the Notre Dame matchup. And I've seen a few of their radio and podcast hosts talking about, I think we have a shot to catch Notre Dame because they're so wrapped up in this playoff thing from last year and leave no doubt. And it's all about the playoff disrespect and their minds on the postseason and everything already because that it hurt so much when they got left out. And I've seen the Wisconsin people be like, maybe there's an entry angle there to clip Notre Dame when they're already they're already thinking about the playoff and leave no doubt. It's all about getting snubbed and whatever. Here's the problem I have with that in my mind. If Notre Dame's obsessed with leave no doubt and obsessed with the way last year ended and feeling slighted and mad at yourself for losing 2 games and mad at the committee for what they did, Notre Dame's going to overlook Wisconsin because it's all about the playoff thing or whatever. But here's my point. A part of leave no doubt is winning week to week. Like, it makes logically, that argument makes no sense to me, because the obsession of leaving no doubt, and Freeman saying we left doubt last year and we need to leave no doubt, that a huge part of that is appreciating the hugeness of each individual game and the opportunity it gives you to go from 1-0 to 2-0 to 3-0 to 4-0 and so on. And so to me, anyone being like, it makes me nervous because Notre Dame's thinking of the playoff and leave no doubt, bro, winning each individual game is the first step of that. There's no way Notre Dame's overlooking that. They've learned some tough lessons. So I don't know, man. Tex ND. Good morning. Ooh, we got somebody with some smooth voice pipes coming up backstage. And it ain't me. Good morning, ND, always Irish family. Locked in for the Rice tailgate. Let's go. There is going to be 2 things to consume at the Rice tailgate: alcohol and rice. That's it. Not Tony. I couldn't get him to show up. It's literally just going to be buckets of rice and then alcohol. That's all you got. Eat up. $10 olive from Ryan. Thank you so much for the $10 olive. Malachi Tony was a freshman for Miami last year, and he tore it up. I'm sick of the wide receiver issues. Sounds like there was some disappointment during camp. Maybe Bubba Frazier will be our Malachi Tony. There's a couple different things here I want to hit. Couple different things. Number one is, we are literally 1 calendar year from that Miami disaster. And I'm telling you, I got open wounds, bro. I still got open wounds. Like, I'm not over it. I'll never be over it. The way it all went, it drives me insane. And one of the main bullet points is, you let a 17-year-old true freshman absolutely clown you all night. You had no answer. I find that to be unacceptable, but that's what happened. That guy was 17 years old, couldn't even go buy a pack of damn smokes. The kid couldn't even go buy cancer sticks, and he was shredding up Notre Dame up and down the damn field. I'm not over it. But the second part of it is, this came up on the Patreon chat this morning, actually. Goolsby talks about it all the time. How do you balance a freshman or a guy you don't have a lot of body of work with, but as an elite skill set or speed or whatever it might be, versus some guys you know more what you're going to get, but they don't have that. Their ceiling isn't going to be as high. They may be a little more reliable on what you need them to do down to down, but they don't have the high ceiling of like a Bubba Frazier's athletic skill set and the speed he has or something. As a staff, how do you balance high upside athleticism versus more reliability? You kind of know more what you're going to get, but there isn't that ceiling that's as high as the younger guy that's more athletic. How do you as a staff balance that part of this? And where do you double down and take a risk on a young guy that could just make flash plays for you, but there's risk in that? How do you balance that responsibly as a coach, a head coach, or a position group coach? I've been asking myself that, because the reality of Notre Dame's situation is, the way they're recruiting, you're going to have more and more of these dynamics popping up, where you may have a guy that's been around a couple years and you like him and he's kind of reliable. You can have a younger, more athletic, twitchier athlete that has a higher ceiling. How willing are you to roll the dice, take the risk, let the talent do what the talent does? You may just find a hidden gem you didn't even know you had, or he makes some rookie mistakes and it costs you a ball game. How do you as a coach balance that out? I've been asking myself that question. But Ryan, thanks for the $10 holler. Couple more chats, and then we'll go to our first caller. I'm going to put the link here if anybody wants to join. Appreciate you guys. Man, it's just good to have this football energy back. Tex ND. This is the battle of the offseason. It's the battle of spring ball too. So let me get this straight. The offense does good in the scrimmage and we're mad. The defense does good and we're also mad. This is the conundrum of offseason college football. When you get the reports that the offense is doing good, you're like, okay, well, is the defense not as good as we thought? And then when you hear the defense dominated the day, you're going, well, what do we got, a crappy offense or what? So like you can't, there's no way to parse that all out in your mind to end up in a good spot. Because it's like, yeah, I want the offense to look good and whatever. That's great. But I thought we had an elite defense. And then when the defense is doing good, you're like, oh, what's wrong with the offense? Like, what? Yeah. So there's no good way to do that exercise without you like kind of losing your mind a little bit. You know what I mean? Swan, can you guys send a tailgate care package? I don't know about that, but we are probably going to do some swag bag giveaways with a lot of Always Irish paraphernalia and various other things. Have like the split the pot tickets and we're going to draw a bunch. I think that's what we're going to do. So if you come to the tailgate, you may end up leaving with the big bag of goodies, man. So we're going to have that going on. We might have the most hard to please fan base. Tex, here's what I don't know. I'm so wrapped up in the Notre Dame ecosystem. I do not know how to judge how this all goes with every other fan base of a perennial contender, you know, the top 12 teams or whatever. I don't know that. I'm so wrapped up in the Notre Dame world. I don't have a way to gauge whether the way we freak out about every little narrative and every little report, I don't have a way to gauge whether that's Notre Dame specific or if it happens everywhere. And I'm just not connected enough to anybody else's ecosystem to know it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not in the Ohio State boards looking at what every comment's saying and every little podcast report. So I'm not a good gauge of if this is just how it is, if you're a diehard fan base for any of these major programs or if it's unique to us. Slip Mahoney is full of that money. Champ Mons had a quiet Friday night. He only threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for 2 in a weather-shortened game. Could be the next stud guy in Notre Dame. But I got to worry about Wisconsin before I worry about that. Brandon, you got to answer this question. True or false? I thought you said you were moving back to South Bend. Is that true? What are you going to do? Move back, get your own place? We have a homecoming party for you at your own house? Yeah, I just invited myself over. Let's party it up. I swear you told me you were moving back from Georgia. Ryan, do we believe the Onye hype? The word is he looks like $1 million. I keep hearing that. Looks like $1 million. I need to know you're going to play like you look, right? Like you look like $1 million. I need you to play like $1 million too. So like, I don't know, wait and see. $10 holler, Levi. Why are we ignoring the obvious? Wisconsin's acting like they got a stud QB. Joseph played 1 legit D last year. 96 yards, 0 TDs, 1 interception versus Indiana. Had 3 offers out of high school. Old Dominion, Army, Navy, and Air Force. Notre Dame defense is going to eat. Man, I want to believe this is what it's going to be. And the word is he's a hell of an athlete. Everybody knows that. Quick twitch, can run, like scramble. Everybody knows that. The book on him, though, is if you get pressure in his face, he will throw you the football. That is one theme I've heard repeatedly from the Wisconsin side. If you get pressure on that guy, he will throw you the football. Now, you do have the Indiana game as like him stepping up in class from Old Dominion and then playing like a power forward team or whatever. But you do got to wonder, how is that going to go? The speed of the game, the size of the athletes you're going against have got to be night and day from what you're used to in an Old Dominion schedule. And then you have Notre Dame. It's got to be a world difference. I want his clock sped up. I want everything he's processing to be a second faster. And he's got to rush it. That's how mistakes happen. But I'm telling you this, though. Here's what I'm not here for. We still have a couple more weeks to get into this and break down the actual pregame. Here's what we're not doing. We're not doing, oh, everybody's covered downfield because Notre Dame's great secondary or whatever, but nobody up front's getting home. And then the quarterback scrambles for 12 yards on 3rd and 8 and gets a first down because we let this kid run on us. I can't have it. I can't have it. So whatever you got to do to make sure you contain this guy, you got to do it. They're worried about their O-line. I keep hearing the Wisconsin radio, the Madison, ESPN, Wisconsin radio shows and stuff. They got O-line. They are worried about O-line. I keep hearing it as a reoccurring theme that they're worried about the O-line holding up. You got to like hearing that if you're a Notre Dame person. You got to like hearing that, but you got to contain that guy, speed up his clock, rush him into decisions, and not let him get to the edges and run for 12 yards on 3rd and 8. And the other reason that's a brutal killer is you got this elite secondary, whatever. They're holding everybody down. Nobody's open. It doesn't matter if he's going to run and get 12 on 3rd and 8. Like, it's a wasted rep of playing good secondary defense if you're going to allow it. I'm just saying, every Wisconsin thing I've seen so far, they're nervous about the O-line, and I like that. And if you're nervous about the O-line, I want to get it first game. I want to get them the first game because it's bound to get better as the year goes along. $10 holler from WPP. Leave no doubt. Marcus Freeman could write a book about fine New York cuisine as he spent 8 months experiencing the big city on multiple trips. Of that, I have no doubt. As to football, there is cause for doubt. Never change, WPP. Never change. Never change. I get it. I think you're overestimating the time he spends in New York, but dude, there's so many things where, like, you have a private jet and the Notre Dame head coach flies across the country, meets a recruit, flies back, and he's in his own bed that night. Like, he's on the Tiger Woods plan where you have your own little private jet, your own little airport skiff, and you take off and come back. But I do laugh. There's always like 1 week in late June where the staff literally gets to go on vacation, go with their families, get away from the facility. It's 1 week of summer. And I get all these messages of people like, Freeman's not even working. Get this guy on the recruiting trail. How dare you go to the beach with your family? I hope there's some recruits in that ocean. It's like a lot of this fan base let the previous coach not do anything and gaslight you at the podium for 10 plus years. This guy works his ass off. He goes on one vacation with his family and everybody like, I hope there's some recruits at that resort. It's hilarious. Give the guy a break. He's got like 28 kids. Let him have 1 week with them in the summer, man. Oh, man. It's just funny. Freeman could do nothing wrong. How about not losing in September? That's wrong. How about protecting home field better? That's wrong. There you go, Commander. You always accuse me of covering for Freeman. I don't know what else you want me to say. Don't lose in September and protect home field better. I need both of those out of Marcus Freeman. He's got to get better at both of those. So you want to talk about Marcus free pass and all that kind of stuff. There are things he's got to get better at. You got to be better in September and protect home field better. And you're going to have a chance to do both those this year. So that's kind of where I'm at. Badger nuance worries John. You know what else is on my mind about this? You know what? Bruce, you're coming up. You know what else is on my mind about this? You're talking about Badger nuance. I woke up thinking about this. Almost wrote an article about it, but I decided to talk about player leadership instead. If Fickell is feeling this heat of like, I got to have a big year. I'm out of here. And like they finally invested more in NIL. We're able to get 33 transfers and pay decent NIL. Okay. So Wisconsin did try and provide more resources to support him. If he's feeling all this pressure, does he get sneaky in this game and pull out a couple plays here, thinking he could catch Notre Dame, knowing they have better talent? We need to steal a couple possessions. I don't think Fickell is a natural like risk taker. But if you feel like your back's against the wall and you ain't have anything to lose, that's on my radar. Does he do a couple tricky things here, thinking it's game one, now's the time to catch Notre Dame with this fake punt, fake field goal, onside kick, whatever it is. Whatever it is. So I do think about that. And Notre Dame's got to be prepared for everything. If you really feel like your back's against the wall and you know you're at a talent disadvantage and you're trying to prove a point, do you take a couple of those risks? And will Notre Dame be prepared, or will it be like, they got us, it's week one? So I don't know. But when you want to talk about Wisconsin nuance, that's on my mind. And then also, if you're of the mindset you want to steal a couple possessions from Notre Dame and you're thinking about how to do it, then I also wonder where you take your shot. If you're Fickell and you really want to prove a point here and you're going to get sneaky, do you do it early in a game to try and change the tide, get that Wisconsin-friendly crowd on your side? Or is that a thing where you're down a little bit and then you can't get down anymore and then you do it? These are all the little nuanced things I start thinking about when we start getting into this game prep. But I need Notre Dame special teams especially. You better be ready for everything. You better be ready for everything, because this could be that moment where it's like, we're going to steal a possession early in this game, get this crowd going on our side. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Ryan, what's up, buddy? Good articles, man. You've been banging them out. I know that grind. Doing a good job. WPP. ND fans draw no distance. Why you got to single out Liam? Why, Liam's the nicest guy in the world. You got to single out Liam? Notre Dame fans like Liam draw no distinction between the coach and the team. I cheer for the team, not the coach. But I say that with respect to Liam, who seems like a nice guy. He's awesome. I love Liam. And I'll say it again. Liam's also a terrific father. He brought his daughter to the blue and gold game, who's a little older than my daughter, and she watched out for my daughter and hung out with her the whole time, and I appreciate that. Good dad, Liam. I love that guy. Here's my take on this. He says, I cheer for the team, not the coach. For me, this varies depending on who the coach is. There are times where I cheer for the team and the coach. There have been other times where I just cheer for the team. To me, it depends who the head coach is. There was a lot of those years where I wanted the team to win, but I didn't care for Brian Kelly. When the Weiss era was over, I didn't care for him, but I wanted the team to still win. So for me, it depends on who that coach is. And if I think they're trending in the right direction and doing a good job and working hard and treating people right. So for me, it varies depending on the scenario, man. I always wanted the Notre Dame team to win, but I didn't want to inflate Kelly's ego anymore at the same time. You get what I mean? So I don't know. Tex says, coach is a part of the team no matter what. Yeah, I understand it, but there were some times where I was conflicted to where I knew the coach was failing overall, but I didn't want the team to suffer the individual failure that week. Do you understand what I mean? Take Kelly out of it, because that's so sensitive to so many of us, including me. Take Kelly out of it. There were times where you knew Charlie Weiss was going to get fired and this was not working and trending in the wrong direction. You still wanted the team to win, though. But you knew overall the momentum was against you of this working. So I don't know, man. Tough scene with the decided schematic advantage, right? That's a tough scene, man. That's tough. All right, we got a couple people want to hop in. Good morning to you. Niner, big timer. You're coming up. I like where this is headed. Bruce, good morning, brother.
John, how you doing?
Good, man. What's going on?
Much, nothing. Just wanted to and a couple of thoughts. So first, I know you're a shopper. That's to know. But
Bruce, your internet's choppy, bro. I can't see you. I can't hear you. Try and get out and come back in. You're more pixelated than me watching HBO as an 11-year-old after dark. All right, log out and come back in. Yeah, you're struggling.
Okay.
You're struggling. Come back in and I'll get you. ND9, good morning, man.
Hey, I got it right this time.
Oh, crystal clear 4K HD, baby.
Right. Okay. Apologies to the chat. I'm not as smooth as Liam, Catfish, anybody else that calls in. So I'm gonna be in and out.
ND9, here's where I'm going to start, man. I got to thank you again for coming to all the blue and gold festivities, man. And like you and the wife, we were out all that Friday night and we were out and you're like, when's the party tomorrow start?
Yeah.
Like, dude, you guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. And like, and you know what else, man? Like, I know there's a lot of women that love football and Notre Dame and all that, but your wife's a trooper for dealing with all of us that whole time.
The whole weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Dr. John had pants on under that lab coat. He had her signing. I was like, dude, if you don't get away from my girl. What's up, Dr. John?
we had a motley crew out that Friday night there on Eddy Street. Like it was, but man, it was, and again, it was just such a great, like an opportunity for everybody to meet everybody. And like everybody just kind of got together and became friends over it. But like you guys were with us riding the whole time. And I love you for that. So thank you again.
Yeah, but it's kind of like what you said, like I hadn't met any of the guys. But once we walked in the bar, it was like I knew Renee. I knew everybody. It was just like,
yeah.
Man, it was the best, man.
Yeah, it's really a weird dynamic because you feel like you know how these people are before you even meet them in real life because it's a relationship and you get to know people's vibe and how they are and how they deliver and everything. And then when you meet them in real life, you're not starting from ground zero. You already have history, kind of. It's weird.
Yeah. It was so cool. I can't wait to do it again. I don't know if I can make any games this year, but for sure the tailgate in the spring, and I might go to the Carolina game just to catch up with some of the guys.
Yeah, man. Okay, so we're about 2 weeks out. College football starts this weekend. We're back finally.
Right.
Camp is over. Notre Dame's turning the page to get into more Wisconsin-specific game prep. I would love to know where your mind's at with everything you're hearing and reading, and where's your stress level. I would love to know.
My stress level is pretty low. I'm looking forward to seeing the defense, do big things. More questions on the offense, like everybody say about receiver. Curious about this guy, Bubba Frazier. I don't know anything about him, but I keep hearing his name and it keeps popping up. So, and I'm pulling for CJ Carr to, kind of step his game up too. He's good, but I think he's got another level he can get to.
Yeah, man. I couldn't imagine any more pressure expectations on CJ Carr. Like there really is not any higher to go as far as what he's expected to be and deliver. Like #1 pick, Heisman winner, lead us to the championship. Like these are the loftiest Notre Dame quarterback goals you could ever set for anyone. And this is our reality. I found it interesting. Freeman the other day in his presser talked about like Carr's the leader and everybody knows it. And like, he is that dude. He is the leader of this. Everyone follows his lead. And he even joked and said, you got 6'8" offensive linemen looking down at that quarterback and he's the leader,
Right.
So the weight of the Notre Dame world is on him. But I'm going to say this. This is why you come to Notre Dame as a quarterback.
That's right.
This is what you want. This is what you dreamed of when you commit to go to Notre Dame. You want these expectations. You want that pressure. Like, this is what you want if you're the Notre Dame quarterback.
Right. You got to put yourself to the test. And this is the place for that, especially at the end of the season. the first beginning of the season, I expect them to run through some people. Not taking them lightly, but we just got more talent than them. But that SMU, Miami, BYU stretch, I might have it out of order. He can show me something then. Do it in
Yeah.
the big games. Do it. Although he didn't play bad in the big games last year. He played well enough for us to win those games, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Okay, now let me ask you this. This is like hitting the third rail of Notre Dame fandom here. Okay.
Okay.
By the way, nice hat. Show that hat off.
We-
Ooh. Ooh.
Sully, what's up, dog?
Ooh. Sully's got a sweatshop in his basement cranking out the always Irish hats. Man.
Yeah, he's the man. He's the man. Hey, I see your comment, Andrew. You were way nicer than I thought you would be, bro. I like you more in person. You still cool with me.
That's about as honest as it gets. Like, I don't care for all your contrarian takes in the chat, but to have a beer with, you're a hell of a guy.
Yeah, he's contrarian, but it's not personal. Like some guys on here is personal.
Yeah.
Like the one guy made a comment about Liam a while back, crying. I still hate you for that, bro.
Yeah.
If I ever see you, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let the hate out.
If you got that hate in your heart, let it out.
Liam's a good guy. WPP, lay off my dude, man.
Yeah. Man, it takes all kinds around here, man. It takes all kinds.
Yeah. But it's a great family. Yeah.
Back to the football. This is the third rail of Notre Dame fandom. What is your expectations of the wide receiver room? Do you? It seems to be the one thing that we have a perpetual concern about. Where are you at in your expectations of that room specifically as we're 2 weeks out?
Because it's mixed reviews on like the Ohio State guys, like especially with Porter, he hasn't been able to run, so nothing for him. So I'm just expecting Greathouse and Faison to carry the load. Like that's my expectations. That's it.
Yeah, it's and then here's the other thing, man. I feel like some guys are going to emerge. We just don't have the data yet. Like I think you're going to have some pleasant surprises, whether that's a Bubba Frazier, a Fitzgerald, or whoever.
Right.
I
Good point.
There's enough in that room that a couple guys are going to emerge, but you can't like count on it now because you haven't seen the production.
Like you say, we don't have the information. So
yeah.
But one of those Fitzgerald or Bettis, Burris, we're gonna be a surprise by one of those guys, I think.
Yeah. It's just and so it's and I've seen some debate about like, did we go in the portal and get the wrong guys? Now one of their legs fell off, and did we mess that up or whatever? Like, you could go back and ask what their approach was in the portal with wide receiver, been like another guy could have been a good fit. You could do all that, but we got what we got, and it's got to be good enough against Wisconsin.
That's right.
So like at some point you're going to have to cut off that frustration and look at what we got running out there, and then it's got to work. And the extension to that, Niner, is, and I don't know the answer to this, and I don't know how to do the math.
Right.
If CJ Carr is what everybody believes he is, how much does that help the wide receiver group turn
100%.
into what we need? I don't know how to measure the effect he could have. Right. I don't know how to measure that, but I think it's got to help.
Yeah, I think it was in a group chat, and a guy made not that CJ is Tom Brady, but Tom Brady never had all-world receivers. Maybe Randy Moss, he had all-world tight end, but he made those guys, Wes Welker and all those other guys, better than what they really were. You know what I mean? No discredit to them, but yeah, CJ can do that. He's gonna have to.
Yeah, it's and I really do think I think this is a roster that has surprises on it. And I think they're going to get their opportunity because the schedule's fairly light in the first 6 games. There's going to be guys that get opportunities on both sides of the ball. And I think they're going to flash early, and we're all going to go, ooh, you got something there. And then that will develop again. I think that's another benefit of the lightish first half of the schedule is. You're going to get
Right.
to see a lot more of these guys, and I think you're going to like what you see.
Yeah, and Aeneas Williams come to mind when you say that. A lot of people talking about, well, you lost 2 first rounders, and we did, and nobody's saying that they're those guys. But I don't know the last time Notre Dame couldn't run the ball. Like, I don't know, man. So we'll be
Yeah.
okay.
And you know what else? I'm going to say this. I know Mark with glasses, big Aeneas fan, number one.
What's up, Mark?
The more I see and hear of him, the more I like it. And it's an
He's a
attitude
dude.
thing.
He's a dude, man.
It's an attitude thing. Like he's
one of those ones, bro. Yes, sir.
He's got an edge to him, and he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Right.
And I respect fully the commitment to Notre Dame to not be like Love and Price are ahead of me another year. I'm not going to get to play. I'm going to go to the SEC and do whatever. Right. I respect the hell in the transfer era we're in to stick it out in Notre Dame and wait your time. And now, you know what? You're the leader of that group. You're the 100%. Leader of that damn group.
100%. And I hope those young guys follow his lead and his attitude. Just hang in there. Your time's going to come, man. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I've seen some people worried about like the running back production and you're losing Love and Price or whatever. I do not have that worry. I just think they're going to be good enough. And I think they have multiple guys with varying skill sets. Some of them are going to hit. It isn't going to look like Love and Price, but it doesn't have to give you what you need to win.
No. If they can chunk out 4 and 5 yards a pop, I'm good. I'm good, man. Yeah. What's my man name, number 21? Golly.
Yeah, you got. Well, wait, what number's Aeneas? I forget. What number's
Aeneas is 20.
Yeah, you got Aeneas. You're gonna have, and then you know what else? They kind of told you the top 3 were the other day. Like, and you're gonna have Nolan's gonna be a part of this too. Nolan James.
So he's another one. I don't know not much about him, but I keep hearing his name, so I'm expecting him. But Young, Keedron Young. Keedron Young. I'm excited to see what he can do with some more playing time. Yeah.
Telling you, I'm excited to see what it's going to look like, man. And then Nolan James moves different. Goolsby keeps mentioning how he bends. He mentions that when the guy cuts, sometimes he bends his body in an unnatural way, but it works. Maybe that's a guy that ends up being a short yardage guy that can squeeze in a little gap and maneuver his body and get that 3rd, 4th, and short, get in the goal line. I want to see what they come up with. Sider's got some tough choices to make, though, about who does what and so how you divide carries out. I don't know.
Is he just going to stick to the 2-back thing, or is he going to give some more guys some time? He might be better to spread it out a little bit more this year.
I don't know what he's going to do, but he's got some talent to play with here. So, man, I'm excited. Do you have any defensive anxieties?
God, it's gonna sound so cocky saying no, but I really don't. I want to see what Onye, Brew, and there's another guy up the middle. If that middle is solid, I think it's gonna be a problem for teams to score.
Yeah.
I trust the linebacking core. I trust the DBs. Yeah, man.
The other day in the presser, Freeman mentioned the depth along the interior D line is a luxury Notre Dame has not usually had.
Bro,
he went out of his way to mention how many guys they could rotate in the interior D line and still feel really good about the production.
Right.
That is a luxury we are not used to. And one thing, as good as these recent Notre Dame defenses have been, you could get leaned on in the run game north-south sometimes.
Yeah.
And we've seen some of that.
100%.
Undersized Heinisch in there against Miami and just getting mowed down the field to 8 yards in the run game. That's over. That is over.
Yeah. Think about the playoff run. We were scrambling to have bodies in the middle. Like dudes was playing hurt, people gashing us. I think it's gonna be different. We can keep the injuries to a minimum. I mean, that's true of any team, but we got some guys, man. We can rotate some guys in better than the previous seasons.
Yeah, it is, man. And you know what else too? There's this idea of like You got Carr, and now you don't have Love and Price. It's going to be throwing it a lot for Notre Dame or whatever. I think Notre Dame's still going to run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
That's still in our DNA. They're going to want to run the ball.
Trust and believe.
If you can run it, it makes the passing game even easier. But like anybody thinking they're just going to throw it all over because of Carr, they're still going to want to be dedicated to that run game.
That's right. That's not our thing anyway, man. We're going to give some teams some work this year. I can't wait. I'm sorry, Wisconsin.
Woo. Man,
y'all just the first in line. Y'all just the first in line, man.
So I'm going to ask you the question I asked myself. How do you balance the confidence you feel about Notre Dame being a mature program in a really good spot week one versus respecting your opponent, who's a Power 4 opponent with a coach that has a very good track record in college football? I struggle with the line, man. I have that confidence, but I don't want to be cocky because it's dangerous. How do you think of that?
Right. I mean, as a fan, I can be cocky, but
you're right. It doesn't matter what I think.
You know what I mean? But okay, so I've never played at a high school, college, pro level, nothing like that. Strictly weekend warrior, athlete, tennis, bowling, softball, flag football. You can never look at say, oh, we're playing them. You gotta want to step on their throat, no matter how good they are, how bad they are, and that's the approach they have to take. Just mash on the gas from the opening whistle. You can't take anyone lightly. They will beat you. I mean, they got scholarship athletes. They see Notre Dame. You're gonna get their best shot. Don't play around, man. Take their head off, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's too violent.
And you know what? And you know what else? No, people want you to meet up with Brian. That's what they want. The other thing I think about is, and this is brought up a lot, these days with the transfer portal era we're in, a 4-8 team from last year could change a lot if you get the right portal guys in there.
100%.
The idea that you got to like recruit your way out of being bad for 2 to 3 to 4 cycles.
No.
If you go to the portal and you add 3 dozen dudes and they're balling and they're at a different level.
Right.
That is a new age concern when you go, they're a 4-8 team. I ain't worried about them.
Right.
Man, you get the right portal blend. You could flip this script real fast.
Right. So I'm not up on Wisconsin and who they got in the portal. It's too much for me to keep track of. But I'm sure they got some guys. You know, I know Luke Fickell is trying to hang on, so he's going to get some guys to help him out. But
yeah,
no chance. No, I'm sorry,
man. I would love a relaxing fourth quarter before that first post game show, and we're looking at the backups, and they're still doing good.
What?
I need it. I need it.
Get ready for it.
Oh,
get ready for it,
man. I hope so. ND Niner, anything else on your mind, buddy? I want you to check back in with us like game week. Let me know where you're feeling when we get closer.
No, that's it. I can't believe I did this, man. But I promised the guys I would. So I try to be a man of my word. And shout out to all the guys, Renee, Luis, Catfish, Liam, Sully. Love y'all guys, man. And John, are you good with getting guests on the show?
Yeah.
Can you get and I'm asking for a friend. Can you get Roseanne Barr on the show?
Yeah, well, I don't have her number, but I'll see what I can do.
Okay, all right. It's for a friend. He'll know. He'll understand.
I think there's an inside joke here I'm not part of. But I'll see if she's available.
All right, bro.
Hey, thanks again for everything, man. It was great meeting you and the wife at Blue and Gold. You guys are fantastic.
Oh,
people.
Man. The best. The best.
It was awesome. And I'm telling you, that hat is unbelievable. Love it.
Ooh,
baby.
What?
Fantastic. Have a good one, buddy. I missed that joke, whatever it was about Roseanne. I don't know what she's got to do with it, but I missed that joke. I'll tell you what, though. What a great TV show. Not the recent ones, but the original Roseanne. What a great TV show. And you know what I liked about it? Bruce, you're coming up. Catfish, too. You know what I liked, appreciated about that original Roseanne show from like the late 80s? most of these sitcom TV shows back then were set in a household where like money wasn't an issue and it was like upper middle class, everything's fine. And then we have these other like problems in the family. It was one of the main ones that was like a main theme was like a regular hardworking family trying to get by. That's what I liked about it. It was like, it was one of those that like kind of highlighted that struggle of regular working man people. And that economic thing was always like an underlying storyline to that original Roseanne was just like how hardworking Dan Connor had to be just to support the family. I like that because a lot of those shows kind of skipped some of that. And so I really appreciated that part of it. I really did. Bruce, let's try that connection again.
What's going on, John? How you doing, man?
Oh, you're back. You're crystal clear. You're back. Is this a new studio setup? It looks a little different in the background. You in a different spot?
Nah, well, yeah, I was on my laptop before, and I said, all right, when you said it wasn't working, I said I'll just come in here and do it.
You are loud and clear, 4K HD, baby. Bruce, it's good to hear your voice. I owe you a show, so I got to figure out a time to come on and do a Notre Dame breakdown before Wisconsin.
Sure. Yeah, we got to line that up. Definitely.
Bruce, what's on your mind, man? We're about back. Yeah,
we're almost there. I was just thinking about it. I think that one of the most important things here is that, and this is the thing that held us up early in the season last year, I don't think we'll have as many issues with the defense out of the gate. You're in the second year in the system. The veterans are familiar with it. Not that he changed a lot, but when you have, just a different voice and calling things a different way, it's going to affect you. But now everyone is really familiar with it. I think that's going to be less of a problem, allowing Notre Dame to kind of get out of the gate faster this season. I think that's going to be huge. I heard someone talking earlier about Malachi Toney, who is a very special young man. But I also think I read like during the summer that Leonard Moore asked to kind of cover him wherever he goes, that he has to, travel with him. I think we're going to see that's going to, I'm not going to say lock him up, but make him much less of a factor in the game. I actually watched a breakdown of snaps with Leonard Moore and Mekhi Lemon last year. And Lemon had, I think, Moore, he won like eight out of 12 snaps. And really, he held him way under his average, and that was the Biletnikoff winner. So I have great confidence that Leonard Moore, if he travels with Malachi Toney, will do a great job of limiting his effectiveness, which I think should probably take away a lot from what Miami wants to do offensively.
Bruce, let me ask you this. So you're in year 2 of Ash. You're very hopeful he has a total grasp of the personnel now that he didn't a year ago. Who can do what, who could be trusted, whatever. You want to believe that if you're a positive thinking Notre Dame fan, that will be stabilized. But let me ask you this. You have changes at the position coach levels on almost the entire rest of that defense. You got a new guy in the secondary. You got a new linebacker guy. You got a new D-line guy. How do you see that all blending together? So you are returning to coordinator, but then you have all those new positional guys. How do you think that blend's going to go?
Well, how I look at it is that shouldn't be too big of an issue, because for me, positional guys, it's my understanding, and you can check with Goolsby on this, though, that the positional guys teach more technique and teach the individual players at that position, right? Now, obviously, they all have to tie into the overall scheme, but they teach guys more so how to play that position. And at the end of the day, it's the coordinator's call what happens as that nebulous defensive unit. So I think that Chris Ash still has the overall say. It's just the position guys are developing the guys to fit into that scheme that he's running. So I don't think it should be too much of an issue. And on top of that, the positional guys are outstanding, right? The defensive backs coach, I think he was at Illinois last year. That was one of the best defenses in the country. He coached this guy's name, Witherspoon with the Seahawks. Yeah.
It's interesting to me. I believe that guy was the DC at Illinois. He technically took a demotion to go to Notre Dame. Like that
What does that tell you about
intrigues
what
me.
Freeman is building there?
That intrigues me. He may be like, I just think that is like, it surprised the U of I people, I think. And then they turned it into like, we didn't want him anyways. You could have him. He's no good right when he left.
Well, we know that's not the case. I mean, that's, what do you call that? Sour milk, bitter grapes, whatever you want to call it. Of course, they're going to say that, but that's clearly not the case, right? We just saw one of his guys just ink a huge deal in the NFL. So, like, I'm not buying that. But yeah, I think that the defense is going to be much improved, and that's going early on in the season, and that's going to really play into the Irish getting out there fast. What was the other note I had? I think that also the defensive line is improved, but it doesn't necessarily have to be elite because the back end, the safety and cornerbacks group, the defensive backs are so good that when they're doing what they do, it's going to give the defensive line more time to get to the quarterback. I think they're so good that the quarterback's going to have to hold the ball longer. And so that's going to help things, right? You have better.
And you think you're better and deeper at D-line. So it's like,
For sure.
then you have a coach that everybody respects that is like considered an elite one.
Yeah.
But like, so I'm looking at a secondary that you think could be mostly locked. I want to see the McKinney, Sanders, and Christian Gray thing all. I want to learn to have some confidence with them. But like the safeties and Lattimore, you feel good about. And then if that D-line could get behind the line of scrimmage and pressure without having to blitz and bring extra guys, who's scoring a lot on Notre Dame if they're able to do that?
For sure. I think only the best teams. Really, that's the teams that have some really explosive offenses. I guess SMU maybe and Miami. Those are the ones. And that said, Notre Dame's schedule is not as bad as people make it out to be. I've talked about that on my show. But regardless, we only see really two possibly threatening, explosively offensive teams that could really test that. But I think you're 100% right with that, John.
Bruce, offensively, what are you expecting from Notre Dame offensively this year? A lot of new faces in new places. What are you expecting that offense to be like?
I think it's going to look different than what we have seen from Notre Dame maybe over the past decade and a half, because it should be more explosive going downfield. But that said, because people expect that so much, I don't think they're going to get as far away from the run as maybe some people think. Now, obviously, the thought is going to be that because you have 2 first-round running backs gone. Like, you can't immediately replace that. But Notre Dame always has a strong running back room, always has a strong offensive line. They're never going to want to get away from running the ball. And, of course, Marcus Freeman being a defensive guy, he preaches what? Violence, physicality. And that's on both lines of scrimmage. And defensive coaches always want to be able to start off by being able to run the football. So we're never going to get completely away from running the ball effectively. And also, Denbrock wants to feature CJ Carr, but if you can run the ball effectively, that's going to make it easier to do that. So I think we're going to see a more explosive downfield offense, but we're not going to it's not going to be an air raid. Notre Dame is never going to play that way, right? Yeah. Like, speaking of Wisconsin, Luke Fickell, for whatever reason, this guy, I couldn't believe it. When he went into Wisconsin in his first year, he brought in the OC from North Carolina who ran, Phil Longo, I think his name was. He ran an air raid. Why would you try to run an air raid at Wisconsin? That makes no sense. Yeah. But to that point, you're never going to see Notre Dame try to do that. And Marcus Freeman is not going to try to do that, right? It's going to be punch you in the mouth and play off of that. So,
Bruce, you do. That is a terrific point you bring up. Like, any time Wisconsin's been good, it has been a really good defense and a power run game.
Yes.
And it's just so against like the DNA of what a good Wisconsin program is to be like, we're just going to come to the Wisconsin weather and throw it all over.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't figure that, especially Fickell being a defensive coach. That was really weird to me, but it is what it is. But so I definitely think that we'll see a little more explosive downfield attack with Notre Dame this year, but it won't be as different as people think. That's my thought. You mentioned recruiting, John. Recruiting is at a great level. It really is. And here's the thing. I know this is less important to you, but I'm an NFL and college guy. And part of being a great college program is we also want these guys to be great on the next level, because then that also turns around and increases the recruiting pipeline back into Notre Dame. And so I think that we have to keep that in mind as well, in terms of, okay, you're recruiting these guys, but you want them to go on and be elite players going into the league. And so if you can do that, I mean, yeah, Notre Dame still has the most first round picks of all time. They have the most Heisman Trophy wins of all time. They have the most Hall of Famers of all time, NFL Hall of Famers, got all that. But, most of the professional fans skew younger. Leagues sell to younger fans because they want them for longer. And so the younger fans don't know about all that history. So you got to get these guys going into the league and being elite players. And I think Notre Dame is really on the way to doing that outside of just offensive line, right? So I think that's huge. And my last point before I get out, excuse me, 2 points actually. Sorry about that. I was reading on ESPN.com. I know you're not an ESPN guy, but I got to read all this stuff. Kyle Bonagura and Mark Schlabach, two of their college football analysts, did a college football playoff projection. And both of them had Ohio State and Notre Dame playing for the national championship for the second time in 3 years, which I thought was pretty cool. They didn't call the game, but they laid out how they thought the tournament would go. Right.
I told you guys, they've been sitting here for years now. And when we either beat Ohio State and or win the championship, I'm eating them and I'll deal with the food poisoning. It'll be worth it.
Well, I can't wait to see that. But yeah,
yeah, everybody wants to see me barf live on the air. Right. I can't wait for that.
Yeah. But no, I think it would be amazing to see that. And I think that this would be the time that Notre Dame gets over the hump. So,
Bruce, could you imagine a scenario where Notre Dame makes it back and they have to go through Ohio State to get this done? One-on-one, man-on-man, can Notre Dame and Freeman finally get over the hump? And that would be epic. And it would be the ultimate test if this program is at that next level. And that Ohio State thing that's like a Notre Dame thing now because of Freeman's ties with Ohio State, because of the way the game in 23 ended. There's a lot built up between this Notre Dame angle and getting over that final monster that's Ohio State.
Yeah, I totally agree with that for the reasons you said. And then also, I tell you what, this would be the thing, though. If it gets there, I guarantee you're going to see Leonard Moore. If freaking Jeremiah Smith is on the sideline getting a pebble out of his shoe, they're going to sub Leonard Moore out to stand right there. If Jeremiah Smith is in the bathroom at halftime, Leonard Moore standing outside the door. They're not going to let that happen again. Everywhere Jeremiah Smith goes, Leonard Moore is going to be right next to him. I would love to see that matchup. And Jeremiah Smith has openly said the toughest guy to ever defend him has been Leonard Moore. So
yep. I
would love to see that matchup. And I do think that Notre Dame has the talent to line up with pretty much anybody in college football now. And on top of that, Ohio State, we got to remember, as good as they are, lost a lot of talent, especially defensively, to the NFL. Now, the great programs always retool and rebuild very quickly, but they lost a lot of elite guys to the league.
Yeah. Okay, Bruce, before we let you go here, sure. I'm going to give you the platform to go ahead and give your state of the SEC here as we're about to enter the season. You're the resident SEC hater. You would rather see the Big Ten win than the SEC. You don't like the SEC.
Yes.
I would be remiss if I didn't give you some space to be able to let out whatever's on your mind about the state of the SEC. What do you think?
Well, I wasn't even thinking about it today, but I'll just keep it brief, John. I am happy to see the Sorry Excuse Conference. Shout out to Mr. CeeLo, host of the Talk Like a Champion Notre Dame football podcast. Check that out. It's a good show. But he coined that, the Sorry Excuses Conference. All they're doing is whining and complaining. And of course, they'll probably have 5 teams in the playoff. But really, at this point, they only have one team that people kind of see as being a legitimate contender for the national championship, and that's Georgia. So, provided we'll see what they do, but we know that it's such a what is it? It's such a gauntlet every week in the SEC. Get out of here, whatever. But we will watch them continue to flame out and continue to get beat down by the Big Ten when it comes to the big games. So I'm cool with that. I'm just tired of it, man. I'm tired of it. And as long as they don't win, I don't care who does. I don't care who does as long as it's not them.
Are you a believer in Texas as like the banner carrier for the SEC this year? Where are you at on Texas?
Georgia. I think it's still Georgia. Texas really talented. I think if we look at who could be the SEC champion, it's either Texas or Georgia. Oklahoma is always going to be talented on defense. John Mateer comes back, so good quarterback play. Brent Venables, who is one of the best defensive minds in the country, will be calling the defense again for Oklahoma this year. And so we'll find out, but I think it's either Texas or Georgia. But for whatever reason, Sark doesn't quite seem to get it done in those big games, and I'm A-okay with that. I'm A-okay with it. So
now speaking of those Buckeyes, Bruce, speaking of those Buckeyes, week 2, Ohio State goes to Texas. Ooh, you're going to get some early answers when that game happens.
But the question is, will you get the early answers, right? Because we saw it doesn't really matter that much, right? We saw Oklahoma beat Michigan last year in week 2, and they got beat in the first round of the playoff. We saw Ohio State beat Texas, but Ohio State didn't go on to win. So these early season matchups, I don't know if they give you all the answers that you need. They might tell you a little something, but it'll be a litmus test for sure. Ohio State's got a pretty tough schedule this year. I'm very anxious to see what they do. Last year, they had a cakewalk for the most part, but this year their schedule is a lot tougher. So we'll see what they do. But at the end of the day, look, it doesn't matter to me as long as the SEC continues to lose in the 12-team playoff. And look, I don't even want them to play for the national championship. I don't want them to have anything to say, and I want them to continue to whine and make their sorry excuses. It just means more. Apparently, it doesn't when you're not the only ones that can pay. That's right.
Ooh, Bruce, I like it. Let everybody know where they can find your program to support you.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Instagram, The Format Podcast. And you can find me on YouTube, The Format Podcast. So just hop on YouTube, put that in the search bar, The Format Podcast. And also, like John, The Format Podcast is available on Spotify or wherever you get your audio podcast. Just search The Format Podcast. You can find it.
Bruce, thank you so much for joining. And then I definitely owe you a pregame show. So get with me. And I'm bad with phones. I'm bad answering.
You're the worst.
I'm terrible at it. Hey, don't take offense. My family thinks the same thing. But we'll get together and I'll hop on your show and we'll go ahead and we'll do that before the season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate it, John. Thanks for the time.
Bruce, you're the man. Take care. I can't tell you how many comments we're getting about Bruce's voice. I'd listen to this guy describe paint drying. Look at G Baby. Man, this guy is the most perfect voice for radio. Yeah, filed under things never said about me on this show. Do you know how many people have told me they hate my voice, but over time they learn to live with it and then it just becomes normal. And then they like it when my voice hits up and then goes down. Telling you, man, that guy has the voice. He could narrate you making a kid. You know what I'm talking about? That is some smooth pipes, bro. Absolutely love it. All right. A bunch of people kind of just hopped on that want to, it comes and goes. We got a bunch of people that jumped on. I'm going to run our fantastic sponsor ad read, and then we're going to try and get through you guys. So maybe we're going to have to tighten up the time a little bit, and I'm going to try and get through this as quick as I can. So let's reset the deck here. And then we'll get to you guys. Today's episode of Always Irish is proudly sponsored by Funding by Frawley. If you own a business or know somebody who does, Tom would love the opportunity to earn your trust. For more than 23 years, Tom's helped business owners strengthen the financial side of their companies through customized commercial funding and payment processing solutions. Tom doesn't believe in one-size-fits-all programs. He takes the time to understand your business, identify opportunities to reduce unnecessary costs, improve cash flow, and tailor financing and payment solutions that fit your specific goals, not someone else's. As a proud supporter of the Always Irish community for years, Tom would be honored to earn the trust of fellow Notre Dame business owners. And here's something that's especially meaningful to Tom. When you choose to work with Funding by Frawley, you're not just helping your own business, you'll also be helping support this show and this community through Tom's sponsorship to this podcast. This is Tom's way to give back to a community that means the world to him. There's never an obligation, just a conversation. Reach out today for your complimentary business financial health check. Funding by Frawley, where trust comes first, solutions come second, and relationships last a lifetime. Ooh, so does that airline. That lasts forever. And I am going to say this, by the way. There are already people that have reached out to Tom from this ecosystem. I'll say it again. I say it every time. I only do this with people I trust. Tom will take care of you. I trust that guy with my life. He runs the city of Chicago, for Christ's sake. Catfish, what up,
What's
baby?
up? What's up, Johnny? How are you?
I'm slightly disappointed you're not getting ready for your shift at Chippendales in the old locker room there, but I'll deal with it.
I gotta actually work today, so
here's where I want to start with you.
What's up?
I know you are like a live wire with the Notre Dame energy. You gotta love the feeling I have today. You could tell people are getting it pumped up. They're catching up to the level you're at every day of your life. I love it, man.
That's what it's about.
And it energizes me doing the show when I see how people are getting pumped up. I love it.
We're less than a week away from game week, guys. All I'm going to say is that's when it's going to really go ahead. The vibes are going to come up. My biggest thing, Johnny, I like I said, I'm working, so I jumped on. So if it gets loud, if I have to run out there and it gets loud, bear with me. But I got a couple things I want to go over with you. The media. I'm getting excited about this, but I want to let you guys know, look, I'm so tired. And I know that you've mentioned it a couple different times over the last couple months about like the layoff and we didn't play. But, there's been years that Notre Dame didn't go to bowl games and we didn't have this much of an issue with the hype. Dude, this media is out of control. They report on everything to the extreme. Like Marcus Freeman was talking to a defensive back. Does that mean that they're putting in game plans for defense? I mean, look, the receivers are going to work itself out, guys. It's going to come around. These guys are reporting on literally practice film or practice scrimmages or warm-ups or something like that. Everything is scripted for the media to see. You can't have a whole story about who's going to be the receiver based on warm-up drills or how a guy looks. Like you made a comment about Onion. Hopefully he does play like that. But how can you come to any conclusion on he's going to be playing more because the guy looks better than he did last year? That makes no sense. We don't know until we see the game start. And I don't know if it's because the media has nothing to go on because there's no major injury or there's a returning quarterback or the hype. And so they're reporting on this stuff. But, this Matt Jeffrey thing, it's a good thing that we have the number one, not number two, not the number one lacrosse athlete out of high school that went to Notre Dame, and he walked on to the football team, and he's going to help our depth. Now, everybody can say what they want about this guy playing or not playing. Freeman never said he was going to play big minutes or big snaps. He was asked a direct question, and the question was, is he in that top group? He showed right now in camp that he's in the top group. But the bottom line is we have players that were hurt. Elijah Burris didn't play much in pre-camp. Porter's not playing. It'll work itself out, guys. It's good that we have a guy in there to help us as far as the depth goes. You go back. He is not in Faison and him are not, and let me repeat, they are not the normal walk-on players. They're not, and when I say this, don't think that I didn't like them. But they're not Joe Schmidt and they're not Chris Finch. Okay? Faison's going to play on Sunday. He is not the normal walk-on. Everybody keeps on talking about Faison like he's an average walk-on. He is like he's like the Hunter Renfrow of walk-ons, guys. Like, he's going to play in the NFL, man. Like, quit talking about him like he's an afterthought or like he's not good enough. Like, the dude has proven he deserves to be on the field. So the bottom line is, whether he was a lacrosse guy who came to play football or not, let's get behind this. You know, I mean, we can sit here and talk about like, oh, this means bad news, this, that. How do you know until they get on the field and play? And because Freeman said he's in the top 5, does that mean he gets 10 snaps, 20 snaps, no snaps? What does that mean? So for us to form conclusions based on a couple clips that we see of warm-up or drills that they're going against defensive backs, it's not live action. And everybody in the indie stratosphere, the media, they're taken because one dude goes to practice and he sees one clip over here, but everything else is going on over there and he doesn't even see it, so he reports on it because he has nothing else to say. And then everybody runs with it. And my thing is like, you can't take that as gospel. Like, it's not going to be like that, guys. I mean, it's going to take on a life of its own, and we got to get excited about this because at least we have a kid with that much athletic ability. And I've talked to a couple guys that follow lacrosse. They're twitchy in close space.
Yeah.
Okay. So he is the number one athlete at his sport. That is it. The athlete has to be good in tight space. So that means he might even be better than Faison in that manner. Who knows? So give him a chance before you dog on him. I just don't understand how fans can't be excited about that. Like, I'm not saying you're not a little bit disappointed that Porter's not ready, but dude, give him a chance. Like, it's not even game 1 and people are like all or nothing on this, man. Like give it a chance to work out.
You're thinking like practically and clearly, and it makes perfect sense. But I also understand, like, in the emotions of the Notre Dame fans, they're frustrated every August. There's a wide receiver question. You just want to know everything's going to be good enough. And you got to see it to believe it. And bridging that gap is messing with people's minds. We just all want to know it's going to be good enough. And you just don't have the data yet. And I think wide receivers specifically, it's a hot button point for Notre Dame fans because it's the one spot we felt like hasn't quite been where we want it. And it's extra sensitive. So I get it, but man, you got like 15 scholarship guys now. I'd like to think somebody's going to take snaps to be good enough, you know?
Well, this is the thing. We kind of went back and forth with a couple of my buddies or whatever on the group chat, and we're kind of going back and forth with this receiver thing. And, is Mike Brown good enough or whatever? I don't know if we're comparing this wide receiver situation to like Ohio State, but we're not Ohio State receiver guys. We're not a pass first team. We're a run first team. So the bottom line is that, like, when Brown came in, if you remember, let's rewind back a couple years ago. Almost every upperclassman receiver transferred out, and they had to basically start over with this depth chart. Okay, we have 2, maybe we'll say 3 guys this year, and one of them last year sat on the bench the whole entire year because he was injured. That we can bank on as like 3rd-year receivers, right? All the other guys that we're banking on are like 2nd or 1st-year receivers. Like, and we're thinking that they're going to come in and be Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith isn't maybe on this team, but that doesn't mean that they can't be successful at what they do. And get them a little chance to get out there on the field and see what they can do is all I'm trying to say. Mike Brown might be better than what everybody's giving him credit for. He took 2 lacrosse players, and they're good enough to be on the field in Division I football. So he's developing somehow. I mean, Jordan Faison didn't. He's better than what he was when Mike Brown first got there. So my thing is like, let's see what he can do with these younger guys, because the majority of that room, 17 guys we're talking about, are freshmen or sophomores. That's the majority of that room. So let's see how this works itself out, because the majority of the teams have juniors within that realm, kind of like we had last year with Fields and Pauling. They played because they were upperclassmen. They kind of, they were trusted. You know what I mean? Like, let's see what these guys do. The more snaps they get, the more we get later in the year. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm trying to say. Like, it's kind of, we got to be practical with this, because they're not going to be Ohio State, but that doesn't mean they're going to be Navy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's a difference there, man. And I think we were successful at what we did. And last year's team could have probably done better passing the ball, but we had 2 first-round picks at running back. And of course they're going to go ahead and lean on that. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe this year they and the other variable that we're not talking about enough is Carr. He's in his 2nd year. So hopefully that raises the play of all these receivers. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm just saying, you know.
I heard that. Catfish, it's your turn on stage. Get out there.
But I'm just saying, man, I just hope I'm going to take you off camera, get out there. But I mean, how do you feel about that, Johnny? I mean, do you think that I'm off base by saying that our receiving core and stuff, it can get better? You know what I mean? Like
you're looking
over
at
the year.
You're looking at it very practically and like very like kind of fairly. It's hard for Notre Dame fans to separate the emotions of being frustrated with the wide receiver room so many cycles. That I think is hard for people to reconcile till they see that it's good enough on the field. But the way you're approaching it makes perfect logical sense.
I mean, I just look at it like I'm sitting here thinking in my head, like if these cats come out and they play in the first 2 or 3 games like garbage, I understand the fan base drawing a conclusion that Mike Brown's not doing his job and we don't have the talent. But we do have the talent there. It's just whether or not these guys can grow within this system. And that's where I'm just like kind of I'm taken back and I'm drawing away from the whole entire nonsense of drawing a all or nothing conclusion on this. It's not even been game 1. We haven't even seen one game. We saw a scripted practice and warm-ups. And people were like, oh, Matt Jeffrey's going to be playing half the game. Like, how do you know that? We haven't even seen him, like, scrimmage. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I have a hard time understanding and following these dudes that are like that. And shame on Notre Dame's media. Shame on them for doing this. Because ultimately, it's them feeding all this information to our fan base. You know what I mean? They're the ones doing it. So if they didn't do that as much as they did, maybe we wouldn't be where we're at with the way we feel about the receivers. I think it's a story they're trying to make, just like the national media with politics. Create and crap where it doesn't need to be created.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's where I stand on
I
it,
think
man.
Kat, I think that's a very, very mature take, but I do understand the emotional, mental, like anguish of the Notre Dame fans that want it all to know it's all good right away.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, it's completely fair for you to feel that way, man. It really is. It's completely fair. And all the fans, I get that. But, you know, I saw the other day, and I saw some people talking about, like, dude, Malachi Fields is a phenomenal football player. His talent is completely unmatched with anybody probably on our roster right now. But dude caught 1 touchdown in 1 preseason game, and you got knuckleheads talking about this is why. Dude, he's in the preseason and they threw him the ball. Do you expect him to drop the ball? I mean, he made an NFL roster as a 3rd-round pick. Don't act like we ain't got 3rd-round picks or better on this roster talent-wise. It just makes no sense off of 1 clip to form an opinion about something. It's the most asinine thing I've ever heard as a fan base. We're smarter than that. You got people that went to college with 4-year degrees, going to master's degrees and stuff, talking about off of 1 clip forming opinions. It makes no sense to me. So I don't know, man. My feelings on it, bro. I don't know.
I want to get to that Wisconsin post-game show and go, you know what? I feel a hell of a lot better about these receivers and everything. You're approaching it in a very pragmatic, practical way. I do understand like the emotional ties Notre Dame has to a wide receiver frustration. Catfish, you're the man. Thanks for joining.
I got one more thing I got to say. I got to shout out my boy ND9. ND9 is the man. That was a fantastic call of the offseason as far as I'm concerned, because that man right there brought it. So I'm going to tell you, ND9, good job, bud. So I just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there. And next time, try not to get me on after Luther Vandross of Collins, man. Bruce is the man, dude.
I know, man. How do you think I feel? Everybody knows how bad my voice is when it's compared next to that guy. All right,
yeah, man.
You're the man.
Right.
Have a good day, bro.
Hey, you as well, man. Love you guys.
See, I had a good conversation with Kat over the weekend. Catfish, don't let the media tell you, Tyler, you're coming up. Don't let the media tell you how to think and feel.
Don't let the media tell you how to think and feel.
If you got that media hate in your heart, laid it out. Tyler, what's going on? Good morning, brother.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. You're
All
good
right,
to go.
I'm on my lunch break. I'll keep it short and sweet, all right? So I just got a couple of things I want to talk about, all right? So I'll give you a rundown of last year. So my daughter was born December 1st, right? And that was right after the Notre Dame, 2 o'clock in the morning, I just, don't get me started. And then, so in between that time, my grandpa passed away December 12th, right? So I was going up to visit him, and then I was watching a selection show in my car. My wife was driving, and I was getting ready to tell him, hey, we're going to win the Natty, and what do you know? That was like, and I was just sick. I was sick to my stomach, it was just terrible. It was a terrible feeling. A pit in my stomach, everything, And I mean, it was horrible. It was on a Sunday too, just a Sunday scary, and that made it scarier. So it was a bad time.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, that jump started a really challenging offseason, man.
Yeah.
Not only did you add 2 months to the offseason because we weren't playing in all of December and all of January, so it added 2 months to the offseason, and it just put a tinge of like anger into every piece of it. Then Lou dies, and you're in the middle of that, and then Lou dies. You add that on top of it. It's been a long, brutal off season. Damn it!
He lives on a lake. I wanted to go jump in with bricks on my ankles, dude. I was like, this is just ridiculous. And I didn't even watch Here Come the Irish on Peacock because I was so sick. I still haven't watched it.
Too painful.
I don't want care to see that. So there's that, right? And I, in the midst of that, I wanted to show my daughter, newborn daughter, gold helmet's running out. I know she won't remember, but just the thought of it, and so whatever. But so first thing I got.
Are you in a better place now? Like now that we were through this, and like, are you ready for something new now? Like I'm hoping we're healing here.
Oh, dude, I'm ready. I can't wait. I can't, like, it was a build up, but now, like, I mean, it's football week. I was just in, me and my wife were up north last weekend, and we were talking about just the season. You usually go to every game, or a game, every season, and we're talking about going to Miami this year, at least tailgate, because I live in Sylvania, Ohio. I'm about just north of 2 hours away. So even if I go just tailgate, drink, and go back home around 4, then watch it in my peaceful garage,
Bro,
because I can't watch it anywhere else.
We got we're having a tailgate for it, so come on in, man. We'll have a great time. We used to do that a lot, where you could tailgate and then go watch a game somewhere else if the weather's bad or we didn't have tickets, and you still get to feel the vibe of the moment. You know what I mean? That energy.
Especially around Miami fans, there's no way I could be around that, and alcohol involved, there's no way. So I'm good on that. But and then another thing. So first thing, our O-line. They got to keep Carr healthy, man. They got to protect him at all costs. I don't care what it takes. The best 5, I don't care. This carousel going around. Like, I don't care who it is. Throw Rudy out there. The best 5. Seriously, I'm sick of hearing about this and that. Who's that center? Who's that right guard? Just who cares? Who cares? Just protect Carr, because who's number 2 behind Carr? Seriously.
Yeah, it's tough.
I don't know, and I'm just sick of hearing about it.
Will Black, man. I think about Will Black on that blind side. Like, I love the move of Knapp inside to left guard, a much more natural position. Goolsby's talking about that for years. That's his natural dominating position. And I love the upside of Will Black. But when you're protecting that blind side, we all saw the movie that had Lou Holtz in it on that blind side. Like one false move and he's getting suplexed from behind. I can't have it.
McGlinchey against Georgia, as good as he was, he got torched, So I don't know. Then another thing, sorry, I'm trying to rush through this on my lunch break.
No, so it's all good.
I think on offense, I think a secret weapon might be that Premier kid, that freshman. Throw him in. Throw him to the wolves. If he's ready, who cares? He's 17. You got Tony last year. He's 17 years old. Throw this kid in. I mean, why not? What do we got?
I
to
like
lose?
I like how you were trying to say his last name, but you said Premier, and in a way,
I
the
don't-
Premier kind of like lines up with
Yeah, same
it.
diff, whatever.
Or
Yeah, same
okay,
thing.
could it? Let me ask you this: could that be a thing where he gets eased into this early in the year in garbage time or whatever when Notre Dame's up by a lot, and by the time you get to the calendar switch to the second half with BYU and Miami, maybe then he could be more relied upon in goal line situation, red zone, go and get it,
Yeah,
third
I
down
mean-
target. I don't know how long the runway has to be responsibly for him to ease into that role. I don't know.
You got 6 games. You got 6 warm-up games, or you don't have a Texas A&M and Miami back to back. You got that to work with. Get them accustomed to how we do things, and we'll see. But BYU, that's going to be a test, and it's at their place at night. So I don't know. You got 6 games for that to fix all that. So another thing too on defense, I think Christian Gray's got a lot to prove this year.
Oh yeah.
I think that when you poke the bear enough, they're going to bite back. I think he's probably heard enough of this. Too many doubts on him, and maybe with the number change and him back to nickel, I don't know. I think he's going to have a really big year, seriously. And when he's up, he's up. When he's down, he's down. So I don't know. We got to find that in him. I don't know if Marcus could get it to him. He did against USC, and Marcus got in his face, and what do? You got an interception right away. So I don't know. We'll see.
The reports were, take it for what it's worth. The reports are he spent a lot of time in the offseason breaking down film, trying to get better, looking at where he can improve. I've heard he's doubled down on seriously being an NFL draft guy. And for a guy where sometimes you felt like he was in his own head, frustrated, and it affected his play. I like hearing how dedicated he was to all the behind the scenes work in the offseason. I think that's a terrific sign.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if he did that before too? Like if he wasn't as serious, and maybe he's just finally taking it serious. I mean, would have been nice against Jeremiah Smith and the Natty, but it's all good,
Yeah.
So that's all I got. It's my first time calling, so I just want to make it short.
Great first call, by the way. I really appreciate it. We got some first timers today. I really love it. Everybody wants to know, did you have time to eat? If you had on your lunch break in the truck talking to me, do you have time to eat a sandwich or something at least?
I scarfed it down before Catfish was talking, so it's all good. Man. Hey, I'd rather talk in here. I'll starve. It's all right.
Man,
we're all good.
Hey, I really appreciate it, man. And it means a lot to me when people at work take the time out to jump in here on the morning show. So, man, feel free to call again. I love first timers, getting people comfortable with the routine and being on air. It's a beautiful thing, man.
I told myself I was going to wait till game week, but I was listening to the live. I've been subscribed for years. It's just it's hard to listen to live at work, but I got a little downtime today, and I told myself game week, but the chat was, it was on fire today. You were, on fire. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hop in. I'm going to find time. So,
I love it, man.
I think we'll try and make Miami, though, just tailgate at least and then go home for the game. Kind of like I think you do, right?
Yeah.
I got to watch it in my space, man. I'm too animated. So
Me too. Yeah. I get very uncomfortable watching Notre Dame games in person. I don't do bars or a big party. No. This is too serious and too serious of a thing for that. So I'm going to go to the Miami tailgate. We're going to take 2 cars. My family will go in the game. I'll take off drive the 2 hours back home, listen to the first half on the radio, second half on TV, and then be down here for the call-in show. So that's my plan.
All right, man. Well, I'll definitely hop in, sometime this season, and I'll look forward to seeing you again.
Man, I appreciate it. I appreciate the dedication, and don't be a stranger, man.
I won't. Bye.
Have a good one. Man, I love getting first timers in here. Andrew, what's going on? You ain't no first timer. What's up?
Hey, what's up, John? Thanks for taking my call. I hopped in late. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, man. It's just, Andrew, it's good to feel like the heat's rising, like people are getting fully reinvested. The energy's picking up, and it has been a long grind of an off season. I'm ready for this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been a long off season. That's why it's funny. The negativity sometimes in the chat on Patreon is funny because people were like, they always want to bash the media, and it's like, well, I think this is kind of like the fun part, it's camp, you're starved for information. I don't have as negative feeling about the media as other people do. The one thing I will say though is, I thought Mark and Tim, they do a Twitter Spaces thing. I thought they were right when they said, like, instead of caring about who the seventh, eighth, and ninth wide receiver is, who won't like probably play very much, why don't we have a better understanding of who the backups are on the offensive line? You know what I mean? Who's going to back up Will Black if he were to go down? Same with right tackle, because like I don't think that was even asked at all, even though Matty Augustine went down. So if there's one thing to criticize, it's like stop focusing on guys who have no chance of playing or really contributing all that much. Offensive line is, and the health of the offensive line has been so key for Notre Dame
Oh
over the
man,
last few
Andrew,
years. So,
isn't Notre
yeah.
Dame due for a year with decent offensive line health? Like, man, we have been decimated. It's you're due for a good health year here somewhere down the road, aren't you?
I agree, and then I also think that is there a reason to be concerned about the wide receivers? Absolutely, but I took the report. Well, basically, the small information they got out of the scrimmage was that the wide receivers played really well, and I think one of the videos that came out of the scrimmage was that the offensive line really was blocking perfectly. So I think where I come in is I'm a big believer in certain stats, largely because Nick Saban talks about it. He talks about the two biggest determinants of how you win games is turnover ratio, or turnover margin, turnover ratio, and explosive plays. And I think going into the season, I think we can be very confident that Notre Dame might even possibly lead the country in turnover ratio with their secondary, with their linebacker core, and then what we think they might have on the defensive line. So it really just leaves like, how do we replace, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, and Malachi Fields in terms of creating explosive plays. And I think that the schedule helps Notre Dame out quite a bit because they don't have to have that all figured out in week one and week two. They can build, there's a reason why they're paying Mike Denbrock to be a top five coordinator or offensive coordinator in the country. It's to figure this out for really a 3-game schedule, might even really be a 2-game schedule, depending on how good SMU is. So I think it's just all about figuring out who the explosive players are. And then I would just like look at Georgia 2021 to 2022, that you don't necessarily have to have like, Alabama 2020 wide receiver core in order to get explosive plays. They won largely with Lad McConkey and what's his name, Bowers at tight end. And I think that, and then they also had a really good stable of running backs. So if this offensive line is really good, it's pretty clear Freeman thinks he's got like 5 good running backs. I mean, that's what he thinks he has. And then I think a real pleasant surprise, at least for me, is that the tight end room is really, really good. They potentially have 5 tight ends who they feel confident that they can play. So I think this season's all about Mike Denbrock tinkering, finding how to get explosive plays. It doesn't necessarily have to come from the boundaries. He's got to find the right mix, and I think if they have that figured out by mid-October when they play BYU, we're going to be in a really good position. So.
Andrew, that's some good positivity from you. You're usually kind of like worried about something here and there. That's a pretty positive spin there.
Well, I think that there are some disappointments. Like Porter's health. You're not hearing the same type of buzz out of Mylan Graham, but it doesn't mean though that like it's 2023 all over again, and Notre Dame's gonna face stacked boxes and really doesn't have an answer. I think there's plenty of answers to look to. So yeah, I mean that's how I feel, and I think that any negativity toward Notre Dame right now, I think is just unjustified. You can't have a strong take right now because there's been such little access to so like
Yeah.
anybody who's saying one way or another that this is a no doubter championship team, or we're going to come up short because of X, Y, and Z. Like, there's just no way that you could have that strong of a take based on how little access the media has gotten during fall camp. I mean, that's the truth, I think. So.
Yeah, man. And you can, Andrew, I know you bounce around to the other sites and the other shows. You can feel a little bit of the frustration in the reporting of the limited viewing windows and what a challenge it is to try and get a firm grasp on what is and isn't when it's so limited. And so you can feel some of that tension, even with the media that's present for whatever they get to see. It's just, it is what it is. And we got to wait for answers.
Well, I do. Yeah, I don't. You're feeling like some of the other outlets are maybe being a little negative because they're not getting access. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying I can feel that they're a little frustrated because they would like to be more certain about certain things, and they don't feel like they're able to do that because it's just so limited. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I do think it's a little bit ridiculous of how closed off Notre Dame has been. I mean, I do follow other teams, and they've at least had some openness to the media. I don't get why. One thing would be, one possibility might be that Notre Dame really likes the freshman class that they brought in, but most of that freshman class is not going to factor in to what happens this year. And so maybe they don't want to show off how good these guys are for next year. They could be that that paranoid because once you open up to practice, you open up to film for other people. So maybe that's the reason. But I do think it's been a little ridiculous how closed off Notre Dame has been. But
yeah,
yeah,
it's interesting. So Andrew, what are you looking for the final 2 weeks here? Camp's over. We're heading into Wisconsin prep. What would you like to hear the vibes be in the next 2 weeks?
I think it's all about health. I think it's all about health. What's done is done. That's why there was a big push on Friday and Saturday that Freeman looked pissed or something like that during the press conference, and don't agree with that. I think it's fall camp's almost like boot camp. It's 24/7.
Yep.
It's like constant evaluations. It's so who's going to be in a good mood in South Bend Heat
Andrew,
after
Andrew,
2 days?
That was my takeaway too. I just thought it looked like a guy who's going through this battle and has his mind on 50 other big picture issues that don't include answering these silly questions. That's how it came off to me, like a guy in the battle with his mind on other bigger picture things, and he just had to get through what he had to get through. That was my interpretation of it.
Close to Tim and Mark's point, asking about who the 7th, 8th, and 9th wide receivers are. I mean, that's like pretty annoying to have to answer questions like that because these are guys who are not, at least early on in the season, are not going to factor in. So I'd be pretty annoyed with those questions too. But yeah, I think it's all about keeping these guys healthy for week one, keeping Greathouse healthy. I mean, it seems like Greathouse is going to factor in a big way into their plans. But I also thought there's a guy, Wake Up the Echoes, who's on the chat. I thought he made some interesting points. He's a big bettor, and so I think one of the things he was talking about in the chat was that he don't expect Notre Dame to come out and cover. He thinks Vegas is giving some signs that Notre Dame might come out and win a slugfest. So yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff to be interested in. Like how good is Wisconsin? I think you got to dig in on them. Seen some reports that they've had some injuries, but the way I look at Notre Dame, it's not a finished product to start the year. I think that we know we're going to have a good defense. Now it's about keeping this offensive line healthy and finding the explosive plays. Because I think that we can beat the early part of our schedule, just by moving the football, matriculating it down the field. But you cannot win a championship if you don't have explosive plays. So it's like this year is all about Mike Denbrock, in my opinion. And is CJ Carr, like I posted somebody on Twitter posted this highlight of Jimmy Clausen. Do you remember when they played Hawaii in that bowl game? And Jimmy Clausen is just throwing dimes, and it's just like, you keep hearing from like close scrimmage practices how Carr is just like throwing dimes. And so I kind of like posed the question. I'm like, I mean, is Carr as good as this dude was? Because remember, Jimmy Clausen was like, had a really strong arm and was ridiculously accurate at certain points. So we need him to be, I mean, if we're going to win a championship. So.
Andrew, there's a lot going on. Make sure you check back in here throughout the next 2 weeks as things crank up even more.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Hey, thanks for being here. I'm telling you, usually I'm used to Andrew sharing a ton of heavy duty worries. He sounded pretty positive here. I kind of like that. I like that. Rodney, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, John? How you doing, man? Been a little bit.
What's going on? Hey, man, I'm just somebody put in the chat. We know the season's close because John's past the 2-hour mark and we're still live.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's when you got a lot of people coming in at the last second, or that have been having a summer of other things going on in their life besides football, man. So now it's kind of like,
what do you make of it, Rodney? We're about 2 weeks out. We have football this weekend. We're back. What do you make of it?
Yeah, no, it's that feeling in the air, John. I can go outside, I take a whiff of the air. I you can just tell it's starting to turn. You can just get that little bit of that set in the air that's a little different than it is in the dead heat of summer. You can, it gets a little cooler in the evening. So, man, we're almost there. Look, man, I think, and again, there isn't a lot to report because a lot of the practices are closed off. I don't really have a problem with that because here's the thing, and I get, people need to have their stories or whatever. But, John, I mean, I'm not one of those guys that wants to sit around worrying about every little thing every other day. In a way, it's kind of nice to just like, season's in front of us. We'll have plenty of time to worry about things when they get here. But it's like, it's kind of nice right now just to anticipate the first week of the season, see what's happening. And then we'll find out soon enough. And let's not forget last year, John, the first 2 games of the year, two and a half, that did not tell the story of who we were at the end or even in the middle. So, we're going to make way too big of a deal about this particular drive or this particular game. And
it didn't tell the story, but it ruined the story. You know what I'm saying? Because it didn't tell the story, but it was enough to ruin the end.
Well, no, I hear. Yeah, you're right. But what I'm saying is the team that we were at that time, dude, there are people like, there's no way Ash, I probably was one of them. There is no way Ash is going to make it through the year. He'll be fired by midseason. There was other people that were like, man, we're lucky if we're going to be 7-5. I mean, a lot, and I really never bought into that. I'm like, I really had a feeling that team was going to get better, and they did. Yeah, you're right. We got left off at the end, but we both know, John, come on, dude. You're seeing it now, like hindsight being 20. You're hearing a lot of these national media people that were pretty hard and kind of making, Notre Dame got left out. That now they're saying, oh, well, Notre Dame was one of the top few teams in the country last year. Like everybody knew they were one of the best teams in the country last year. Everybody knew that. It was basically a technicality because the SEC had to get somebody in, and we can go over that over and over and over. But, John, here's the thing, man. When the season starts and we're all into it and it's stressing us out because of whatever this we're going to stress about or that we're going to stress about, let's just try to understand that it is a long season, and things that may be a situation in the first few weeks may not be later in the year. Some things that may look really good at first may turn out to be not quite as good as, they looked right away. So that's the other thing. I'm really excited for the running backs room, man. I really mean that. Love and Price are gone, but man, I think you've got 5 really good running backs, so I'm really, really happy with the depth there. You're not as worried now if someone gets hurt, who's the next one in, or God forbid if Price and Love gets hurt, what do we do now? We got 5 good guys, 5 guys, man. They have a couple of different body types, but I'm really excited about that. And this offensive line, this has to be the year, John, where it all comes together. And they're generally very, very good, but truly great. And I mean, that's like we were saying, John, when you're lining up against the big boys, you're lining up against the Miami Hurricanes, that defensive line, maybe even Wisconsin to some degree. See what they bring to the table on the defensive line this year. That's and the same on the other end of the line, Darren. I mean, you're lining up against an offensive line that over the years had a reputation of being, a throwback. I'm talking about Wisconsin. We'll see if they get back to that a little bit. I got a feeling they're going to try, and it's going to be interesting to see Notre Dame takes the first couple punches and how they respond. Because make no mistake, man, those two lines are going to be really, really good. The question is how good, And as far as CJ Carr goes, that was a really good comment about Clausen. I was always a pretty big Clausen fan overall. I thought he carried that team, man. And, that last year he threw like 24 touchdowns against 4 interceptions or something, and he was actually very tough. He put his body on the line in a couple of those games. That defense was terrible, though, man.
Yeah.
So, as far as CJ Carr goes, I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be borderline great. But as far as Heisman goes and things like that, John, I really don't care, because it's going to be those moments on 4th and 1. We're playing Miami, and it's like CJ makes a he audibles into a pass, and it's a touchdown or something. Those are the kind of moments that win a guy a Heisman or lose it in some cases. So he's just got to be consistent, and I think he will be. I think the receivers are going to be just fine. Just don't look at the first 2 weeks of the season, John, and get too caught up in all the little minutia. I mean, this team's going to get better as the year goes on. There's going to be things that are going to happen. Someone might get hurt somewhere, and that changes everything. So I'm just really excited to get going, man, and start this damn season, because it's been too long.
Yeah. It'll just be good to get it back going again. So I don't know, man. We'll see. We got 2 more weeks of a build-up.
John, what about you, man? How are you doing, man? Other than just the show and everything, what's your life been? You've been okay? I've been waiting for an Always Annoyed show coming our way. We get those. You know what?
I'll tell you. Thank you for asking. By the way, that's very thoughtful of you. Saturday we had about a dozen 5-year-old girls over for my daughter's birthday party. So we had a bounce house with a waterfall in it. We had kids in the pool. We had a pizza party. And you know what, Rodney, it was healthy for me to get away from the football for a day and just hang out with the kids. It was fun.
That's good, John. I was expecting you to say the opposite, like, oh, it's terrible. These kids' parents, they don't teach their kids any manners these days, and blah, blah, blah. And then the lady brought her cat over, and I hate cats.
You know what ends up happening,
for sure that
Rodney?
Was coming.
It's the age where a lot of the parents don't want to just leave the kids at a party, so they stay. So then I end up entertaining like the dads, giving them beer and like just trying to like make sure everybody has what they need,
That's cool, man. Right on. Yeah, man, a couple weeks away, and then 3 weeks, not even, until we got the tailgate. So lots of fun things on the horizon. Notre Dame's going to be just fine, man. It's just the question is, it's like, there is a, I think, I don't want to say razor thin, but there is such little differences, I think, that this year especially, man, that separates, teams 1 through 7, 1 through 8. So it is going to be, truly greatness. Greatness is something that you can be really good, John, but the truly great teams will find ways to overcome the adversity that Notre Dame has found itself in September in a lot of cases. And, those questions will be answered one way or another, man. It's coming.
Yeah, we'll get there. We're almost there. Rodney, you're the man. I can't wait to see you in a few weeks for Rice.
Yeah, you got it, buddy. Take care, John.
Have a good one, man. Can't wait to see Conolangus Rise. All right, you guys, I got to go. I have a few people that still want to jump on. I can hear the dogs barking upstairs, which tells me the bounce house company is here to deflate the bounce house and get it out of the yard. I can hear the dogs going crazy. I got to go up there and help them get in and out of the yard and all this stuff. Didn't expect to go 2-15, but I love it. And I'm sorry, you guys, I didn't get to, but we're going to have more opportunities. Probably going to do a Saturday night show this week. Probably going to do like a Wednesday night, something middle of the week next week. Maybe do something like that just to build it up as we get into the year. Sorry if I couldn't get to you. You guys are the best. Thank you for building us a bridge to get to this point all off season. Thanks for donating. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the energy. I feel it picking up. And when I feel that energy from you guys, it gives me the energy. You're awesome. We'll see you on Raw tonight. Promo code ND26. Get over to the Patreon. Thank you, guys.